ChristianSands 679, 1, sifted to a fine flour. Now, I hope this is in focus. It's harder to see outside, but I want a little bit of sunniness, for goodness sakes, into this beautiful day. I'm reading through Leviticus right now, which, as I said yesterday, is not really the one you're always like, I'm gonna just read through something. How about Leviticus? But I woke up yesterday with it on my mind to read through, so I was like, all right, God, I'll read through Leviticus. And it begins with detailing of the offerings made to God by his people. And it starts with the blood sacrifices, which I talked about yesterday, deep in atonement, grain offerings, which kind of went alongside, and then the peace offering. And here are just some things that were leaping out at me. The grain offering, let me just read one little piece of it here. Basically, every single time it mentions it, it says, if you're offering, even if you're grain offering baked in a covered pan, it shall be made of fine flour with oil. If you bring an offering baked in the oven, it shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour. Anyone offers a grain offering to the Lord, his offering shall be of fine flour. And it was the repetition of that that really kind of struck me this morning, that in and of itself, you just look at it and you're like, okay, it's a fine flour, yippee-ki-yay. And not that I do much baking, but if you actually look at the functional metaphor that God was asking his people to work out, the very act of sifting this, the handful lump of flour with a bunch of lumps in it and chunks in it, and the act of sifting over and over again, sifting through and then reheaping and sifting until it was nothing but a fine flour, is a powerful truth of how God works with us. That indeed God is constantly sifting us. And I was speaking yesterday about how often we learn the same lessons over and over again, maybe in a series of romantic relationships or whatever, professional relationships, just life itself. We'll kind of be like, man, I thought I learned this lesson. Why did I just get confronted by this again? That's just the sifting, my dears and good ones. For some of you, it may be a chastening to draw near to God in the first place, and for those of you in God, then it is a sifting. He is sifting you out to a fine flour, that no part of you would be attached to any other part of you, that you would be wholly and truly surrendered. And we are a stubborn breed, are we not? We are prone to lump together. We are prone to cling to that which we can see. Cling to the world because we can see it, even if we've been shown and now live in the knowing of what dreams shall come. So the only exhortation I have to myself and yourself is to assist in the sifting. Let yourself be sifted. Cling not, cling no more. And the second thing they kept mentioning in everything, without leaven, unleavened bread. Now, leaven produces a form of fermentation, which sort of could and does represent a corrupting, a controlled corruption in this sense. But I also think there's a potent metaphor there that the offering we bring, we should never be puffed up about. Because leaven indeed causes things to rise. Let us not confuse ourselves that we are anything other than flour, that we are anything other than a flat piece of bread, a bit of lavash, if you will. And let us not become corrupted by anything in our pursuit of maintaining that simplicity, of that fine sifting, if you will, to start mixing the metaphor. But not mixing the metaphor into the metaphor, but indeed also not for us to offer our sacrifice in any way in a puffed up sense, as though, here God, well, I'm coming to you, aren't you lucky? Or indeed a Hey, look at everyone. I'm releasing attachment to all things. Obviously not to your grandiose praise. Be not puffed up. Be not puffed up, but be a finely sifted thing, sifted by the gentle hands of a powerful sifter. God as sieve. Never quite thought of him as such. But indeed he is all things and in all things. Resist not that thing, but bring yourself as a grain offering this day. And I think I've talked well and long enough, so perhaps I'll get into the peace offering tomorrow. Beloveds, peace be unto you today. Let yourself be sifted. Pray for that sifting. Seek that sifting, and cling to nothing but He. Nothing but Him. And indeed at the bottom here, amen and Selah.